This podcast is part of the Shareable Podcast Network. Learn more at shareable.fm. Not every guest takes me up on the opportunity, but I like to do a segment called The Mic Swap, where I make my guest into the host, and then I become the guest. I let them take the conversation wherever they want to take it, ask me whatever they want, and it's a lot of fun, I think. This is Mic Swap.
Well, hello and welcome to the Shareable Show, normally hosted by Jeff Gibbard, but he's not available right now. Yes, he is. He's here, but I'm actually going to be the host. I'm Mark Struczewski, and I have a couple questions for Jeff, and I wanted to ask him his social security numbers, credit card numbers, but he told me I can't do that, so I had to scramble for another question. So one of the questions I like to ask people, Jeff, is what's in your dock? What on an iPhone? I can't speak for my Android friends. I love you, but I can't speak for you. What is on your dock right now? The four icons, the four apps. What is in your dock?
So I actually don't have four. I have three, but they are three folders. So the leftmost one of the three is my habits folder. So that's going to be all the things that I try to do on a daily basis, along with my habit tracking. So this is like Duolingo, meditation app, Lose It for calorie tracking, my habit tracking app, my podcast app, intermittent fasting app, and audiobook. The middle is communications. This is my email, all the different text applications, et cetera. And on the far right are my productivity apps. So these are my Notion, my Todoist, my calendar, Asana, mind mapping, all that sort of good stuff.
Wow. I have never spoken to anyone who has folders in their docs.
Yeah. It's a new thing this year. So with the new iOS 14, how you can have the clean home screen, I have no icons on my first page. It's just a picture of my daughter in the background on the wallpaper. And then the three icons in the bottom are basically like, if I had nothing else on my phone, these are the only things I need.
Interesting. I'm going to have to think about that because right now I actually moved my calendar up to one of the widgets because it gives you more information. Yep. So I'm going to look into that. So the other question I have for you is, what are three books you've ever read in your life that you would recommend anyone read?
Oh my God, this is amazing question. And I have such a library in my head to pull from. But if I'm going to give you three books to read, I would give you these three. I would say the very first book that you should read is How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think it's the most important book that just about any human being can read. So it's absolutely up there. The second book I'm going to say is one of my favorite books. I'm not sure if it's applicable to everyone, but I do think that it's useful for everyone. It's called Pitch Anything, and it's by an author named Oren Klaff. And it's a book about a lot of different things, but it's influence, it's persuasion, it's sales, it's positioning, it's just so many different things. So that would be two books. And then I would say the third book would be The Code of Trust by Robin Dreeke. And P.S., if you ask me the same question in like 10 minutes, I'll probably give you three different books, except for How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's always the number one. But this book by Robin Dreeke is about how to build trust with people. And it's not your typical, like, here are the tips and tricks and tactics and manipulations. It's like, here's an honest, legitimate way that trust works. And it's not in any way to get what you want. It's so that you build trust. It's trust for trust. It's amazing. And he's an I think counterintelligence CIA agent that like worked with like trying to turn foreign spies over or something. So like, dude, like literally is in the trenches of the highest stakes stuff, state secrets and this and that. And he's like, here's how to build trust with anyone. And it's a phenomenal book. I love it.
One final question. If you could only have an account on one social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clubhouse, YouTube, Snapchat, did I leave any of them out?
So I guess I would first just need the clarifying question of exactly what defines a social media account, because if a blog is considered a social media account, then I would say a blog. If it's not is Medium technically?
Yeah, let's talk about something that you own, because you own the blog, you own the podcast. That's why I didn't say podcast. So let's say the social media sites out there. If you could only be on one, which one would you pick?
Man, that's really tough because, quite frankly, I could never say Facebook or Instagram simply because I thoroughly object to the company from like an ethical perspective. So I couldn't say that, even though they would have the highest utility, most likely. I think it would be difficult for me to then say YouTube because I would feel very similarly. And I think LinkedIn is kind of a boring platform despite being exceptionally useful and would probably be the most valuable for me on a regular basis. So I guess if I had to pick anything, I probably by default would pick LinkedIn. But unenthusiastically, I would pick LinkedIn. I am much more of a creator type. So I like to write. I like to create podcasts. I like to create videos. So for me, the blog would be the easiest answer. And I guess I would say if Tumblr was in the mix or if Medium were in the mix, I basically would pick whatever is the most blog-like platform because I love writing. So that's probably where I would go.
Nice. Well, Jeff Gibbard, thank you for being a guest on your own show. I really appreciate it. I'm Mark Struczewski, and I really hope the listener found this episode to be shareable.